Welcome and good afternoon. This is Commish Orr, and today it is finally time for the Baseball Maelstrom Payoff Pitch POPs League Season 2 World Series. That's a mouthful. This World Series between the Houston Hoots and the Boston Splinters. Yes, these are two fantasy teams. Both of these teams made up of Hall of Famers, one American League and one National League team of Hall of Famers. That have made it through a full Baseball Maelstrom season, which is a third of a regular MLB season, 54 games to get to this point. And if we take a look at the standings, we can see that Boston won their division, won the American League by 8 games with a 36-18 record. Houston actually squeaked by 1 game. They finished 31-23. Actually, I haven't updated this for the last final game of the season between Houston and LA, which LA won. But they did have a 1-game lead. 31-23 is how they ended up. And so both of these teams made it into the World Series. There was no interleague play, so this will be the first time that these players are seeing each other this season. This season is season 2, by the way. Season 1 saw the Detroit Rockets top the St. Louis Wizards in that particular game or series. And so we have a best of 7 series going today, folks. This is game 1. And let's take a look at our starting lineups as we are at Fenway Park, the 1948 version of Fenway Park here in Boston. Home team was decided because Boston has a better record overall, and the American League did top the National League in the All-Star game this year. So let's take a look at these lineups. Leading off for Houston will be Tim Raines in left field. Batting second will be Honus Wagner playing shortstop. Oscar Charleston will be batting third in center field. Jeff Bagwell in a cleanup spot at first base. Willie Stargell will be DHing in number 5 spot today. Paul Wainer will be batting 6th and playing right field. Rogers Hornsby will be batting 7th at second base. Ernie Lombardi will be catching today and batting 8th. And finally, Eddie Matthews in the number 9 spot at third base for Houston. And on the mound for Houston today is Juan Marichal. Juan Marichal actually was 8-3 this season, with an ERA of 2. An ERA of 2. So, great pitcher for them. Let's take a look at Boston's starting lineup today. Leading off will be Ichiro Suzuki in right field. Ichiro comes into this with a 17-game hitting streak, I believe. Batting second will be Alan Trammell at shortstop. Batting third will be George Brett at third base. In the cleanup spot will be Ted Williams in left field. DHing will be Frank Thomas, batting 5th. Mule Suttles playing first base and batting 6th. Mickey Mantle will be batting 7th in center field. Nellie Fox will be batting 8th and playing second base. And Carlton Fisk will be catching today and batting 9th. And on the mound for the Boston Splinters will be Bert Blyleven. Blyleven had a record of 10-1 this season. 10-1. With an ERA of 2.89, which, if you have watched any of these videos, you know is actually pretty good for the American League, because the American League had an overall ERA of 5, over 5. 5.05 will be the overall American League ERA, whereas the National League overall ERA is 4.12, almost a full run higher in the American League. So, with all that said, we are ready to get things started here, I believe, with Tim Raines leading off against Bert Blyleven here. We're ready for the first pitch. By the way, just a side note, I know Game Pulse is out. However, because we're in the very final stages of this league, I did not switch this over. Plus, many of these players are at various card sets were used to create this league. And not all of those card sets are available yet in Game Pulse. So, we'll just make that point as well. All right, leading off here will be Tim Raines. And the pitch, it's an in-play result of 43, just beyond his range, and he pops this one up behind home plate. And Fisk will be under it, and that's out number 1. Honus Wagner steps to the plate. And that's a tough result, tough 75. And Wagner lifts this one to center. Mantle will be there to make the catch. 2 down. That brings up Oscar Charleston, a Negro League star who was very good this season. And that's another tough 65. And that will be a ground ball. Trammell will field it over to Suttles. And a 1-2-3 inning here for Bert Blyleven in the first. Way to the bottom of the first. Boston with Ichiro Suzuki leading things off. Juan Marichal deals. Tough out 65. And Ichiro flies this one to left. Raines comes in on it, and he'll get there to make the catch. Out number 1. Alan Trammell. That's a tough 49, and Trammell will ground this one to Bagwell. Bagwell takes it to the bag himself. 2 down. George Brett. George Brett steps in. This is a ballpark result, folks. Ballpark 25. George Brett is a lefty. That's a wheelhouse 4, and that's way back and out of here. A solo shot for George Brett here in the first inning, and Boston takes a 1-0 lead here early. And that's got the crowd on their feet. Boston with a 1-0 lead here early. Marichal had gotten 2 quick outs, but left one just a little bit too far over the plate, and George Brett made him pay for it. And that brings up Ted Williams. In play 91, and Williams grounds this one to second. Hornsby over to Bagwell. That will end the inning, but not before the first run of the game is scored here, and Boston takes an early 1-0 lead heading into the second inning. Bagwell steps in, and that's a tough 84. And Bagwell grounds this one to short. Trammell up with it. Easy play to first. 1 down. Willie Stargell. That's another tough 97. And Stargell drills this one to right. Suzuki, he'll get there, makes the play on the run. And that'll be 2 down. Paul Wainer. That's another tough result. But Wainer fights this one off for a base hit. 2-out single here for Wainer. And let's see, a jump of 9. That's not high enough, or that's not low enough. Wainer will stay put and hope that Rogers Hornsby can do something here. Patient 39, and Hornsby will draw a walk here. Puts runners on first and second for Ernie Lombardi. In play 14. That's going to be a base hit for Lombardi. 6. Here's what I usually do, folks. I look at this die. It's a 6. 1-2 left, 3-4 center, 5-6 right. So that'll be to right field. And it was an in-play result. Right field. And Ichiro, for whatever reason, his arm isn't showing up there. His arm is a 7. One might argue it's better than that, actually, but we'll play it as it lies. 7, and I actually have a special homebrew advancement. Second to home, hit to right, 2 outs, 6 or above for a run. Will score the runner on second, and that he does. He has an 8. So Wainer's going to score on the play. Let's see if Hornsby goes to third. First and third, 2 outs, 6 plus. And Hornsby will go to third. So a base hit by Lombardi. And that ties the game. It puts runners on the corners here. So Blyleven after getting 2 outs, runs into some trouble here. So Eddie Matthews steps in with runners on the corners. But first, this 12 says I'm going to double check to see about a pickoff. Hold is a 7. Hold is a 7. And 22 to 97 is no pickoff. And it's a 93. So no pickoff. Eddie Matthews. That's another in play. That's going to be another base hit. One lone in play in the middle of these toughs and such, and a patient, I guess, but that's going to be another base hit, this time to center field. And Mantle has a worse arm. So that scores Hornsby. And Lombardi will advance to third. Oh, I don't have Lombardi's. Oh, he has a run of 5. That he will not advance to third. Oh, no. The 8 gives a +1. I do a homebrew, as I said. So he does advance to third. So first and third now with 2 outs. Houston takes a lead, 2-1 lead here. And that gets him back to the top of the order with Tim Raines. And that is a wild pitch. That is a wild pitch here by Bert Blyleven. And that's going to score another run. Houston now with a 3-1 lead. Matthews now on second. Tough 84 to Raines. And Raines grounds this one to second base. Fox will take it to first. And they're finally out of the inning, but not before 3 runs for Houston. Way to the bottom of the second. Now Houston with a 3-1 lead. Marichal goes to work against Frank Thomas. In play 50. And this is a line shot, but Hornsby will make the snag for out number 1. Mule Suttles, another Negro League guy. Tough out. 91. And Suttles grounds this one to short. Wagner with the throw to first. Easy play. Once again, 2 quick outs here in the second inning. Mickey Mantle. Marichal's a righty, so Mantle will be batting lefty. A ballpark 50 is an in-play result. In-play 40 is a pop-up on the infield. Pop-up on the infield, and Hornsby will be under this one. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the top of the third. Houston still with a 3-1 lead. Blyleven will face Wagner to lead things off. In play 19. That 7 in play has been killing Blyleven today. And Wagner with the leadoff single here in the third. He has a jump of 5, but this is a 6, so he stays put. Charleston. Tough 33, and that is going to be a double. Double to center. Tough reduces the run speed by 2. With no outs, he stays put at third base. But now we have runners on second and third and no outs, and Bagwell steps in. With a fast runner on third, they're going to be playing straight up. They're just going to be playing straight up here. In play 23, and that's another base hit. That's going to be a single to left. First to third, single to left. In play 9 or above, and it's not a 9. Oh, wait. Charleston's on second. Second to home. Single to left, in play 7 or above. So that base hit is going to score Wagner, and Charleston comes around to score as well. Houston now with a 4-1 or a 5-1 lead, excuse me. Still no outs. Bagwell. This 4 means he gets the jump. Well, 4, 7, 12. Let's look it up. 4, 7, 12 means he is going to attempt to steal. Bagwell attempting to steal here. B1, 78. B1, 78. And he's in there safely. So Bagwell steals second. By the way, I believe we take a look at Houston here. 27 stolen bases, only 1 caught. They only were caught stealing 1 time all year. That's a third of a season, keep in mind, but still. So Willie Stargell will come up with a runner on second, nobody out. Blyleven just trying to get out of the inning at this point. Patient 55, and he walks Stargell. Paul Wainer. Patient 75. That's high enough. This is a fly ball to center. Mantle will be under it. Runner advanced to third. Hit to center is 8+. So Bagwell will actually advance on the play. So now we have runners on the corners with 1 out. Playing straight up for the double play. Tough 60. Barely past Hornsby's hit range here. And that's going to be a fly out to right. Tough means -2, but I bet you that's going to score Bagwell. 6+, yes. So that's going to be a sacrifice fly to right here to score another run. So now Willie Stargell still on first base, but now 2 down for Lombardi. Ballpark. Wheelhouse. 96 though. And that's going to be a long fly ball to left. Back at the wall, Williams will make the catch to finish the 3rd inning, but not before 3 more runs score, giving Houston a 6-1 lead here early. The National League has a lower offense overall, but they haven't shown it here as they've scored 6 runs here. Houston has in the first 3 innings here against Boston. We head to the bottom of the 3rd, 6-1 score. Marichal will face off against Nellie Fox, the bottom of the Boston order. In play 78. And Fox flies this one to center. Charleston ranges to his right a little bit, and he makes the play. Carlton Fisk. Tough out 47, and he strikes him out. First strikeout of the game for Marichal. Back to the top of the order with Ichiro. Another tough out 67. And Ichiro flies another one to left. Almost in the same spot as he did last time. And Raines will be under this one for another 1-2-3 inning here. Blyleven, having allowed 6 runs, will actually come out of the game early here. They will turn things over to Jim Palmer. Palmer is not slated to start in the World Series, but he will be brought in here in this situation. for some innings. All right, so Jim Palmer relieves Bert Blyleven. Blyleven, who had been 10-1 on the season, ran into some bad trouble there with Houston, and now leaves with a 6-1 deficit. Eddie Matthews stepping in against Palmer, and that's a tough 80. Matthews grounds this one to Fox. Fox over to first, 1 down. Back to the top with Tim Raines. It's the 4th inning, but Raines is already 0 for 2 today. Defense check, shortstop range, and Trammell's range is a C, 1-48. A 60 means it's a grounder to short. And Trammell throws over to Suttles for out number 2. Honus Wagner. Wagner led things off last inning with a single that ended up leading to a 3-run inning there for Houston. In play 40. And they'll get a 1-2-3 inning out of this as Wagner pops this one up on the infield. Brett, in foul territory, will haul it in for out number 3. So Palmer gives them what they needed here with a scoreless inning. Marichal goes to work. He'll face Trammell, Brett, and Williams here in the 4th. Marichal deals tough 18, and that is a strikeout. Trammell strikes out here, watching strike 3 go by. If it ends in an 8-9 or a 0, I say it is a looking strikeout, caught looking. This is the second strikeout for Marichal, and brings up George Brett. In play 1, and that is a double into the gap. Brett, with the home run in the 1st inning, now has both Boston hits, as he's into second, standing up for a double here. Ted Williams looking to get some runs back. In play 79. And he won't do it with that, as this one is a fly ball to Charleston. And Charleston will haul this one in. And Brett will stay put at second. Brings up Frank Thomas. Thomas lined out in his last at-bat. In play 79. Not much better this time. Charleston on the run, but he'll get there for out number 3. Another scoreless inning here in the 4th. Palmer will face Charleston, Bagwell, and Stargell here in the 5th. Charleston leading things off. Tough 22, and he strikes him out. It's the first time Houston has struck out today. And brings up Jeff Bagwell. Defense check, right field range. Suzuki is an A. Short fly to right. He is on the run, and he will make the running catch. 2 down here in the 5th. Stargell walked in his last plate appearance. Tough 47, and he strikes him out. Another 1-2-3 inning here for Palmer. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. Boston has held Houston scoreless the last 2 innings, but they have not been able to cut into the 6-1 deficit at the plate. Suttles, Mantle, and Fox coming up for Boston. As a tough 52, and Suttles fights this one off, hits one down the line, and the throw will not be in time as he's into second with a leadoff double here in the 5th. Mantle, tough out 69. And this is, Mantle flies this one to left. Rains near the foul line will make the catch. Settles, hold at second. Nellie Fox. Another tough out. And he struck him out. Fox does not strike out very often. He only struck out 12 times that season. But Marichal able to fool him with one here. Is now 2 down, and Fisk comes to the plate. Tough, 56. And that will be a base hit, a 2-out single. Tough meaning -2 to the Suttles running, which is a 5 now. So second to home. Hit to right, 2 outs, 6 or above. And Weiner, his arm's 6, so Suttles will actually hold at third. And so Ichiro now has a chance to do some damage, but there are 2 outs. Fisk not trying to go anywhere. The pitch to Ichiro is a in-play 13, and that's going to be a base hit to left. So a single to left is going to score Suttles. And let's see, first to third. 2 out, nope. Fisk will hold up at second base. So 6-2 score now, with Ichiro coming through with that base hit. And Alan Trammell comes to the plate. Still some chance to do some more damage here. Marichal deals, in play, 4. That's a double. That's a double into the gap. Fisk is around to score. Center field. Double. Center. 2 outs. 5 or above. Fisk is around to score. Ichiro's around to score. And Trammell is into second with a 2-run double. And the lead is now only 6-4. George Brett steps in. In play 26, and that's going to be another base hit. Single to center. Trammell with less speed. Center. 2 outs, 5 or above. And that's going to score Trammell 6-5 now, as they've scored 4 runs here with 2 outs here in the 5th. Marichal facing off against Williams. Tough, 66. That'll get him out of it. As Williams lifts this one to left. And Rains will haul it in for out number 3, but not before 4 runs score. Houston's lead now is just 6-5. Weiner, Hornsby, and Lombardi for Houston stepping in against Palmer. A defense check, a shortstop error check, and that's going to be an error on Trammell. Trammell was not able to keep control of it. And Weiner will be safe at first. Hornsby. In play 93. Hornsby drills this one to left. And Williams will be there to make the catch. Ernie Lombardi. Lombardi 1 for 2. He had an RBI single in the second. Tough 89. And that is a, look at that double play rating, folks. 10. Palmer has a 6. That's a 5. And that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. Trammell to Fox to Suttles. to erase that error. So Palmer gets out of the 6th. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Marichal will actually come out now at this point because he's allowed 5 runs. After just 5 innings pitched. And who will they turn to? Maybe Pete Alexander. Actually, let's go Fergie Jenkins. He's short relief, though. I have a bunch of short relief guys here. So Pete Alexander, I think, will come into pitch because he is another one that is not slated to start. So they need at least an inning from him so they can do 3 innings from 3 other relievers here. So Pete will come in to pitch against Frank Thomas, Mule Suttles, and Mickey Mantle. First with Frank Thomas. In play 57. And Thomas grounds this one to third. Matthews over to Bagwell for out number 1. Mule Suttles. Suttles with the leadoff double last inning that led to a big 4-run inning for Boston. In play 47. This time he grounds one right to Bagwell. Bagwell will take it to the bag himself. 2 down. Mickey Mantle. Mantle's 0 for 2 today. 10. Tough. 79. And Mantle grounds this one to short. Wagner up with it over to first. A 1-2-3 inning here for Alexander in the 6th. Just what they needed from him. Okay, Palmer has had 3 innings here in relief. And so that's probably good for him. Let's see, Eckersley. Walter Johnson. I think Walter Johnson's going to come into pitch. All right, Walter Johnson coming into pitch for Boston. He will face Matthews and then the top of the order. Johnson deals. That's a tough 94. And Matthews hits this one down the right field line. But Ichiro with a nice play. And that's 1 down. He gets him back to the top of the order with Raines. Raines 0 for 3 today. Tough 65. And Raines hits this one to left. Williams, though, with an easy play. Barely had to move for this one. That was not a fly out to 8. It was a fly out to 7. That brings up Honus Wagner. Tough 43. And it's going to be a base hit. Wagner behind in the count, but gets the 2-out single here. It's the first hit that Houston has had since the 3rd inning. And Oscar Charleston steps in. Oh boy, ballpark. 89's too high though. It's going to be an in-play 29, but that's going to be another single. Single to center. Wagner will advance to third on the play. So now we have runners on the corners with 2 out. for Jeff Bagwell. 9 is another ballpark. 54 is a wheelhouse, but 91, oh my gosh. Bagwell with a hot shot to short. Trammell knocks it down and throws over to first and beats Bagwell by half a step. That was almost a dangerous pitch from Johnson. But he gets out of the inning unscathed. We head to the bottom of the 7th. So Alexander has pitched his inning. Now will be Fergie Jenkins. Fergie Jenkins in to pitch for Houston. I'm going to try to run the table here. Facing Nellie Fox. Tough, 73. And Fox flies this one to center. Charleston with a nice running catch for out number 1. Brings up Fisk. In play, 49. Fisk grounds this one right to Bagwell. Bagwell beats him to the bag for out number 2. Ichiro had the RBI single here in the 5th. 2 outs now. Tough, 38. And he gets a 2-out single here as he fights that one off. Behind in the count, as always. Trammell. Patient, 57. And it hits him. Trammell shakes it off and runs to first. They now have runners on first and second for George Brett. 30 is a wild pitch. Runners on second and third now. Everybody is on their feet. Jenkins deals. Tough. 22. A 1-2 count, and Brett smacks this one into center. This is going to be a tie ball game, folks. Trammell holds it third. Ichiro scores the tying run. George Brett now 4 for 4 with 3 RBI in this game. Ted Williams. In play, 70. That's going to finally end the inning. As Williams flies this one to left, and Raines will be under it for the 3rd out, but not before the game is tied. And Jenkins gets a blown save here. All right, 8th inning. Oh, I think Johnson's going to stay in for one more inning. Actually, we'll go to Dennis Eckersley. Oh, no. We'll keep Johnson in one more inning. He's a long reliever. He'll face Stargell to lead things off. Ballpark. 48 means in play 98. Another dangerous one, but Stargell lifts this one to right. And Ichiro will be there for out number 1. Paul Wainer. Another ballpark. In play 55. Wainer hits this one on the ground to George Brett. Brett slaps it down over to first. Out number 2. Hornsby. Defense check. Third base range. Range is a B, 1-36. And is a 33. This is going to be a double down the line. Not quite in time, and Hornsby slides into second safely. Arnie Lombardi Lombardi's 1 for 3 today. Houston taking a look at their bench, though. They could bring in Ted Simmons. Lombardi's going to hit. In play 13, and it's a good reason they did. There's a single to center. Hornsby around third. 2 out, 7 or above. Oops, excuse me. 2 out, 5 or above. And Hornsby will score easily on this one as Houston retakes the lead here in the eighth, excuse me. Matthews, in play 22. Oh, look at that. Matthews does not have much of an in play. He pops this one up on the infield. And that will be out number 3, but not before Houston retakes the lead here in the 8th inning. All right. Jenkins coming out for Trevor Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman will face Frank Thomas, Mule Settles, and Mickey Mantle here in the 8th. Clean to a 1-run lead. Tough 58, just beyond the range. Thomas grounds this one to Matthews over to first for out number 1. Mule Settles. Tough 45, and he struck him out. Mickey Mantle steps in. Another tough 70. A 1-2-3 inning here as Mantle lines this one to Tim Raines. And they get out of the 8th. Houston takes a 1-run lead into the 9th. Johnson has pitched 2 innings, and he'll come out of this game. And I think Eckersley will come in. Eckersley will come into this. And Eckersley will face Raines to lead off the 9th. Tough 47. And Raines grounds this one right back to Eckersley. He's up with it over to first for out number 1. Honus Wagner. Tough 70. Wagner grounds this one to Fox. Fox with the easy play to first. 2 quick outs here in the 9th. That brings up Oscar Charleston. He's 2 for 4 today. Another tough 92. And Charleston flies this one to right. An easy 1-2-3 inning here. And so we go to the bottom of the 9th. Houston with a 1-run lead, a 7-6 lead here. And Hoffman will turn things over to Bruce Sutter. Jenkins, Hoffman, and now Bruce Sutter. Sutter was dominating this year. He was dominating. And he'll face Fox, Fisk, in the top of the order, but probably not. Wade Boggs will be pinch hitting for Nellie Fox. And got to insert Sutter here. All right. Sutter deals 4. That's tough 20. And that's going to be a base hit. Oh, nope. That's Fox. Back up. Tough 20. He catches Boggs looking with a strikeout on the corner. Wow. Wow. All right, Carlton Fisk. They'll let Fisk bat. Defense. Pitcher error. That's not going to be an error. Fisk lines one right back up the middle, and Suter gets a glove on it. A life-saving measure there by Suter to get his glove out. There's now 2 down. Ichiro down to their last at bat. Ichiro trying to get something going. He's 2 for 4. He's been very good in the clutch. Tough 83. That is going to be the game, folks, as Ichiro lines this one to center, but Charleston will make the play on the run. Hauls it in for out number 3. And just like that, the Houston Hoots have taken game 1 7-6 in dramatic fashion. Spoiling George Brett's 4 for 4 day. 7-6. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Lombardi was 2 for 4. I might give it to him. 2 RBI and the go-ahead RBI here for Lombardi. The go-ahead RBI for Lombardi. I think so. Things are looking good there for Lombardi. So Houston, 7 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Boston, 6 runs on 9 hits and 1 error. What ended up being a somewhat high-scoring game. But Houston comes out on top in game 1. Both pitchers knocked out early today. And turned things over to the relievers who effectively decided the game. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I will be planning to broadcast or post my recordings of games 2 through whatever in the coming days. So be watching for that. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more. And that's where we will leave things today. Houston takes the 1-0 series lead here. Game 2 will also be in Boston, so be watching for that. The starters will be Rube Waddell in Game 2 for Boston, and Bob Gibson for Houston will be taking the mound in Game 2. So be taking a look for that. Thank you so much for all the support. Appreciate you watching, and until next time, have a great evening.